Hi, welcome to Ammosmith.com, and today we're going to do the complete AR15 build, where it's going to be in a couple parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the upper receiver, which is the most difficult, which really isn't difficult but has the most parts going into it. And what I want to do is I want to show you the tools that you're going to need, and I'm going to go over the parts that I'm using. So let me go ahead and start with the tools that we're going to need. The nice thing about the AR15 and the AR series of rifles is you don't need a whole lot. One of the things we are going to use is a upper receiver vise block to hold our upper receiver in place while we torque down the barrel nut. We're going to be using a lower receiver vise block to hold the lower receiver when we put the extension tube on there. Now, since we're using Yankee Hill parts, we need the Yankee Hill wrench in order to tighten down the barrel nut and the set collar. We're also going to be using the standard AR15 M16 wrench here in order to put on the extension tube and tighten it down. And we're going to use a crescent wrench to put on the muzzle brake. You're going to need a set of curved pliers. This is really for the lower receiver, for the key to keep the buffer tube perfectly aligned with the receiver. And you're going to need some punches. Also, you're going to need a 3/16 inch drill bit. And the only reason why we're using a drill bit is because on the barrel nut, we want to be able to line it up inside the receiver so we don't kink the gas tube. If we kink the gas tube, what will happen is you will end up having drag on there, and it will eventually damage the gas tube. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the upper receiver. Also, we have all our accessories, like our mag pull parts, the AFG, and we're going to go over these individually as we go through this. But the main parts we're going to need are the wrenches. Also, you want a rubber mallet. This is good for tapping the wrenches tighter or looser without damaging anything. You're going to need a small hammer. This hammer looks kind of crusty, but this is the first thing I ever made in a lathe, so has sentimental value. You're going to need a set of AR15 punches. You don't need AR15 specific punches, but get a nice set of punches. And then that's pretty much it. We're ready to roll. While we're at it, since we're the real main, the heart of the whole system is going to be the barrel and the upper receiver. I want to go over the barrel. The barrel I bought is a Daniel Defense barrel. It's a very nice barrel. This is the cut rifle one, not the hammer forged one, so it was a little bit cheaper. When I rotate the barrel, what you're going to notice is there's no cuts for the taper pins. And so what I did was I went ahead and bought the Daniel Defense gas block, the low profile gas block. And what we'll notice is on their barrels is you'll have the hole for the gas port, and on the bottom side you'll have a dent or a little detent. And that's so you can line up the Daniel Defense gas block and be sure that the gas port has full access into the gas block itself, so you don't have any short stroke or anything like that. I've heard stories of people buying these barrels where they were getting short stroking on their actions and jamming, and I haven't found that to be the case with this. When I got the barrel, it was absolutely perfect. The fit and finish on this thing is excellent. There's no rust, no blemishes of any kind on this barrel, and it's hard chrome line, so it should last a very, very long time. So I'm going to go ahead, and the first thing we're going to want to do is set up the upper receiver vise block. And all you want to do is take your receiver, and close it in like that. Open up the jaws to your vise. I always have a little bit of this block sticking out so it gives me more room to work. And then tighten it down. Now we're ready to insert the barrel and install the barrel nut. This is a real simple process. What we're going to do is we're going to take the barrel, and on top of the barrel there's a pin, and that recesses right into here. Set the barrel just like that. We will take our barrel nut, till we get it hand tight, and now all we need to do is use the Yankee Hill wrench, the 3/16 inch drill bit, and all we're going to do with the drill bit is insert it like this, just to make sure this thing's lined up just right, and we're all set. I'm going to change the angle of the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, we have the barrel nut on here. We haven't torqued it down yet. I also have the set collar right here that puts tension on the fore end, and that's what keeps it with forward pressure without any chance of it wiggling loose under firing. There's also 2 set screws we're going to set in there, and we're going to Loctite those. So let's go ahead and get this on here. Then after we tighten on the barrel nut, we will install the gas block and then the gas tube. We'll set that in with the cotter pin that it comes with, and we'll be all set. All right, so let's go ahead and get this on here. And when we tighten this down, we're going to tighten it down. Doesn't want to move anymore. And what I like to do is look through the hole, see how well lined up it is. As you can see, this 3/16 inch drill bit will not pass through the barrel nut freely into the receiver, and this is a problem since we need to have this lined up just right in order for us to have a good install of our gas tube. So, a little more. And as I'm looking at it, I can see it needs just a tiny bit more. This is where my rubber mallet comes into play. Take the rubber mallet and I just give it a tap. When I tap this, I make sure I have forward pressure on the wrench so it doesn't back out and deform any of the access holes on the barrel nut. That looks good. All right, let's see if this guy will slide through. Not quite. Looks good. There's another tool we can use, which is this guy right here. This may be just a little bit too big. So we go. That is good. Okay. Now you want to look at it, bring your head down and look at it directly. And see exactly how it's lined up. Because once you put that gas tube in there, once this gas tube goes in, it should have plenty of space in here, because you do not want any tension pulling on this left or right, because what it'll do is this thing is fairly flexible. And what it'll do is it'll cant to one side or the other, and you'll end up with your gas key beating against it. And that'll eventually wear this out right here. You don't want that. Let's go ahead and install the gas block. Okay, on the gas block, it's really two parts. You have this tiny little roll pin that will retain your gas impingement tube, and then you have the gas block itself. Now the gas block only goes on one way. It goes on this way. You want this access window to line up with this detent right here. And the best way to do that is with good light. Once you get that lined up, go ahead and tighten down these two hex nuts right here. Put some good torque on it. Don't over tighten it, but put some good torque on it so it doesn't go anywhere, and you're done. Now we've got the gas block firmly set on the barrel. I'm going to go ahead and insert the gas tube. The gas tube is real simple. Take your gas tube. This is your inlet, and this hole here is what retains it. So we go like this. So you can bring this all the way out too. So you just line the hole up. Get this guy lined up. And we just drift them into place. Then go to a slightly smaller punch and recess them just a little bit. Just like that. Not going anywhere. What I do next is to ensure that we don't have any issue with the bulk carrier gas key hitting this at a wrong angle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bolt out of the bulk carrier, and I'm going to slide the bulk carrier in and out. If I feel any drag, then I know I need to reset this. You'll feel it go into the gas key, but you shouldn't feel it like a crash into it. It shouldn't have any real serious drag on it at all. Okay, we didn't have to adjust the barrel nut. We adjusted the gas block. That was just slightly off center, off that little detent. So you gotta be really careful with that. Now the next we want to install is the Daniel Defense 4-rail handguard. I got the Spectre length one, and what that does is it covers up the gas block altogether. If you don't want to use that and you want to use a gas block that has a flip up sight on it, go ahead and get the carbine length. Let me grab this thing. What we do is we just take it, get it lined up. Ooh, that's loud. Adjust this a little bit. There. It's a real fine thread, so you're going to be threading on this thing for a little while. If you go too far, it'll stop right here. So you just back off one, and you're there. Now, what I've noticed is, if you start tightening this down, you can get it to where this is a little bit off alignment, so I have a cure for that. A little Surefire Centurion I got on the mount here. And all I do is I put this on there, tighten it down. There. And what it does is it lines up the upper receiver with the handguard. And now all we have to do is tighten this guy down right here with the Yankee heel wrench. It's right here. And we put as much tension as we need to on it. We don't want to strip the threads, of course. So what we want to do is turn this a little bit so it's easier for me to access it. What we want to do is get this hook in here like this and then torque it down. So let me spin this around some here. Bring it out a little bit like that. There we go. Make sure we go in the right direction. Once it's hooked on there, alright, this is going to be a little difficult here. Then the side angle, we want to get this here like that. And this is where the proprietary wrench comes in handy, because you need this wrench from Yankee heel to tighten down this collar here. There. Just a little bit more. There. You don't want to kill it and get it in on there. Then I'm going to clean out these threads here, because we have the end cap that we're going to put some Loctite on. We're going to roll that down there, and we can eventually go ahead and buy the set screws for that. They're back ordered right now, so we'll have to wait on those. All right, so now what we'll want to do is go ahead and reposition the vise here so you can see. I'm going to install the 2 set screws that came with the barrel nut into here with some Loctite so it's not going anywhere. Okay, we have the end cap for the free float forearm, and I'm going to put some Loctite on it, and we're going to set it in place so it will be a permanent fixture. I'm going to put a little bit inside the handguard. I'm going to put some on the part itself. And just want it to be, it's about like that. A little more. Right about there. Once that Loctite sets, you're done. Now for the muzzle brake. Real easy to do. Now the muzzle brake we got the Yankee Hill Phantom the aggressive one with the serrated portion on the front. And when I bought it, I made sure I bought the Yankee Hill crush washer to go with it. There's two ways to put this on there, the right way and the wrong way. You have to get this thing lined up just right, otherwise it's not going to do right. Because the bottom of this compensator, muzzle brake, is closed, and we want to put enough torque on this to where that the closed part is down. Let me go get my wrench. Okay, right here we have the closed part. We want to bring this to 6 o'clock at the weapons position here. Now, I got the regular armorer's tool for this, but for some reason this muzzle brake does not want to cooperate with the inlet on this. Just a tiny bit more. About right. And that's not going anywhere. Now we have everything installed that we need to install to complete the upper. The upper receiver is now complete. The only thing we need to do now is put the stuff on it that we want to put the stuff on. So we're going to wait on that, and we're going to build the lower.